I always thought karma would come naturally to people who deserved it. That's what everyone says, right? What goes around comes around. But after 28 years of watching my mother and sister get away with everything while I stayed quiet and dutiful, I realized karma sometimes needs a little push. My name is Noelle, and I'm 7 months pregnant with my first child, a boy. The ultrasound technician's words still ring in my ears. Congratulations, it's definitely a male. I remember clutching Ellis's hand, tears streaming down my face. After 3 years of trying, countless negative pregnancy tests, and 2 miscarriages, we were finally going to have our baby. I should have known my happiness wouldn't last long in this family. A boy. My mother Edith's voice dripped with honey when I told her. Too much honey. Oh, Lindsay, did you hear? Your sister's having a boy. My younger sister looked up from her phone, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. That's wonderful, Noelle. Really wonderful. I stood in my mother's kitchen, watching them exchange that look I'd seen 1,000 times before, the one that made me feel like an outsider in my own family. The fancy copper pots hanging above the island gleamed mockingly, perfect and pristine like everything else in my mother's world. We simply must throw you a shower, Mom declared, already reaching for her party planning notebook, the same one she'd used for Lindsay's wedding last year. Blue theme, of course, and we'll host it here. Actually, I started, Ellis and I were thinking of having it at… Nonsense. Mom waved her hand dismissively. This is the first grandchild. Everything needs to be perfect. Lindsay sidled up next to Mom, their shoulders touching. We'll handle everything, sis. You just focus on growing that little prince. I should have noticed the strain in Lindsay's voice, the way her fingers clenched around her water glass. But I was too busy being grateful, too caught up in the fantasy that maybe, just maybe, having this baby would finally make them see me. Thanks, that's really sweet of you both. Later that week, I stopped by Mom's house to drop off some shower guest lists. I heard their voices before I reached the kitchen door. It's not fair, Lindsay was saying, her voice thick with tears. Stuart and I have been trying for 2 years. 2 years. And she just gets pregnant? I know, sweetheart. Mom's consoling tone, the one I'd never heard directed at me. But we'll make sure… I must have made a noise because they both looked up, faces switching to smiles so fast it was almost comical. Noelle. Mom straightened her blouse. We were just discussing the shower menu. Right. I handed her the lists, pretending I hadn't heard anything. These are from Ellis's side, too. Lindsay wiped her eyes quickly. Great. We want everyone there. It's going to be so special. That night, I called my best friend Daphne. They're acting weird, I told her, curled up on my couch while Ellis worked late. Too nice. Like they're trying too hard. They're probably just excited, Daphne said. But I could hear the doubt in her voice. She'd witnessed enough of my family's dynamics over the years. Maybe, I replied, rubbing my swollen belly. But something feels off. Trust your gut, honey. You're not just protecting yourself anymore. I didn't sleep well that night, or the next. The baby kicked more than usual, as if he could sense my unease. Ellis noticed my distraction over breakfast. Everything okay? He asked, squeezing my hand. You seem worried. I forced a smile. Just pregnancy hormones. But it wasn't hormones making my skin crawl when I went to Mom's house the next day to review shower details. It wasn't hormones that made me stop outside the partially closed study door when I heard my name. Poor Noelle, Lindsay was saying, her voice dripping with false sympathy. She has no idea what's coming. Now, Mom replied, but there was amusement in her tone. We have to handle this delicately. Everything has to look perfect until the right moment. I pressed myself against the wall, heart pounding. The baby kicked hard, as if warning me. It's going to be spectacular, Lindsay continued. By the time we're done, everyone will know exactly what kind of person she really is. I didn't stay to hear more. I slipped out silently, got in my car, and drove home on autopilot. My hands shook on the steering wheel. They were planning something. Something designed to hurt me, to hurt my baby. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to just take it. Game on, dear family, game on. The next morning, I drove back to Mom's house with my phone set to record in my pocket. Call it paranoid, but I needed proof of whatever they were planning. I parked around the corner, something I'd never done before, and walked the rest of the way. The front door was unlocked as usual. I heard their voices coming from the sunroom, getting clearer as I approached. We need to time it perfectly, Lindsay was saying, right when everyone's settled in with their cake. The shower games will be done by then, Mom replied. Everyone will be relaxed, guard down. I pressed myself against the wall next to the doorway, phone recording everything. I've already talked to Jessica from Ellis's office, Lindsay continued. She's willing to back up our story about seeing him with that new intern. My heart stopped. The baby gave a sharp kick. Perfect. Mom's voice was practically gleeful. And you have the texts? Faked them last night. They look completely real. Ellis supposedly confiding in me about how trapped he feels, how he never wanted this baby. Everyone will be so sympathetic, Mom said. Poor Ellis, tricked into this mess by Noelle. And of course, we'll suggest a paternity test would be wise. I had to clamp my hand over my mouth to keep from screaming. It's what she deserves, Lindsay spat. Little Miss Perfect, always so quiet and good. Did you know Stuart actually asked me last week why I couldn't be more mature like her? Well, after this, no one will think she's so perfect anymore. I heard ice cubes clinking in glasses, then Mom's voice again. To karma. To karma, Lindsay echoed, and they both laughed. I backed away silently, checking my phone to make sure the recording was saved. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. Outside, I made it halfway down the block before throwing up in someone's bushes. When I straightened up, wiping my mouth, I saw Michaela walking her dog on the other side of the street. Noelle? She hurried over. Are you okay? Morning sickness still? I forced a smile. Yeah, just hit me suddenly. I'm so excited for your shower next week. Your mom and sister have been working so hard on it. I'm sure they have. Michaela tilted her head. Everything all right? You look pale. Just tired. The baby's been active lately. Well, try to rest up. Next Saturday is going to be amazing. If she only knew. I drove straight to Daphne's house, barely remembering to put the car in park before bursting into tears. She opened the door, took one look at my face, and pulled me inside. What happened? I played her the recording. Her face went from confused to horrified to furious. Those evil, twisted... She grabbed my hands. Noelle, you have to stop this. Cancel the shower. No. The word came out stronger than I expected. No, I'm not running away this time. Then what? I'm going to let them try it. My voice was steady now. And I'm going to be ready. Daphne stared at me for a long moment. What do you need? First, I need you to help me get better at recording. This was lucky. I need to catch more, and I need it crystal clear. She nodded slowly. Okay, and then? Then we're going to give them exactly what they want. The perfect opportunity to destroy me. Except? I smiled, and for the first time in hours, the baby settled peacefully. Except I'm going to destroy them first. That night, Ellis noticed something was different about me. We were getting ready for bed when he paused, toothbrush in hand. You seem, I don't know, calmer somehow. I met his eyes in the mirror. Do I? Yeah, like you've made a decision about something. If he only knew. I thought about telling him everything, but decided against it. Ellis was too honest, too straightforward. He'd want to confront them immediately, and I couldn't risk that. Just feeling good about the shower, I said instead. He came up behind me, wrapping his arms around my belly. I'm so proud of you, you know that. You're going to be an amazing mother. I leaned back against him, watching our reflection. My sweet, faithful husband, the father of my child. They thought they could destroy that? I love you, I whispered. Love you too. He kissed my neck. Both of you. I placed my hands over his, protecting our baby. No one was going to hurt my family. Not my mother, not my sister, not anyone. Let them try their worst. I'd show them exactly what the quiet daughter could do. The next few days were a masterclass in deception. I learned to smile and nod while my phone recorded every poisonous word. I practiced looking excited when Mom showed me shower decorations, all while catching the nasty looks she shot at my back. The blue streamers are perfect, I gushed during yet another planning session. You two think of everything. Only the best for my grandson, Mom cooed, then turned to Lindsay. Sweetheart, would you check on the party favor boxes in the garage? The moment Lindsay left, Mom's smile dropped slightly. Have you been feeling all right? You look different lately. Translation. You're not acting like your usual doormat self. Never better, I replied, patting my belly. Just excited about Saturday. My phone caught every word as she launched into a detailed description of the shower schedule, including the exact timing of the cake serving, when they planned to strike. Later that afternoon, Michaela stopped by with a gift. I know we're supposed to wait until the shower, she said, perching on my couch, but I couldn't resist. Open it now. Inside was a tiny blue onesie with Mommy's little man embroidered on it. My throat tightened. It's beautiful, thank you. Michaela fidgeted. Listen, Noelle, I ran into Lindsay at the mall yesterday. She seemed upset about something. Oh? She was saying some things. About you and Ellis. About the baby. Michaela wouldn't meet my eyes. I'm sure it's nothing, just sister stuff, but what kind of things? Just, maybe you should talk to her. Clear the air before the shower. I forced my face to stay neutral. I'm sure everything's fine. After she left, I called Daphne. They're already starting, I said, planting seeds of doubt with the guests. I've got the speaker system ready, Daphne replied, hidden behind the gift table, just like we planned. Tested it 3 times, crystal clear sound. Good, because I just got more gold. I played her the latest recording of Mom discussing the cake serving timeline. Perfect timing marker, Daphne said. Now we know exactly when to strike. That evening, I made Ellis his favorite dinner, lasagna with extra cheese. He came home from work looking tired but brightened at the smell. What's the occasion? Can I spoil my husband? He kissed me deeply. Always. How was your day? Productive. Shower preparations are almost done. Your mom and Lindsay really went all out, huh? If he only knew. They certainly did. After dinner, Ellis rubbed my feet while we watched TV. You know what's weird? He said suddenly. Jessica from accounting asked me the strangest thing today. My heart skipped. What? She wanted to know if I was doing okay and said she was there if I needed to talk. Made it sound like I was having some kind of crisis. I kept my voice steady. That is weird. Right? I told her I'm happier than I've ever been. He squeezed my foot, which is true. I excused myself to the bathroom and threw up, this time not from morning sickness. The next day, I met Stuart, Lindsay's husband, at the coffee shop near his office. He looked surprised to see me. Noelle, everything okay? Just wanted to check in about Saturday, I said carefully. You're still coming, right? Of course, wouldn't miss it. He stirred his coffee nervously. Listen, about Lindsay. Yes? She's been different lately, more upset about the baby stuff than usual. If she says anything at the shower, what would she say? He wouldn't meet my eyes. Just, maybe don't take it personally. She's going through a lot. I touched his arm gently. Stuart, is everything okay at home? He finally looked at me, and I saw real pain there. I don't know anymore. That night, I lay awake long after Ellis fell asleep, running through the plan one more time. My phone held hours of recorded evidence. Daphne had tested the speaker system repeatedly. The timing was perfect. But still, doubt crept in. Was I really going to do this? Destroy my family so publicly? The baby kicked hard, as if answering my question. I remembered Lindsay's words. Everyone will know exactly what kind of person she really is. Yes, they would. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Don't forget to wear the blue dress we picked out. Everything needs to be perfect. I smiled in the darkness. Oh, it would be perfect, all right. Just not the way they planned. 2 days until the shower. 2 days until karma finally caught up with them. I couldn't wait. Saturday morning dawned bright and clear. I stood in front of my mirror, smoothing the blue dress over my belly, checking my makeup one final time. My hands were steady as I applied my lipstick, Revlon's Fire and Ice. It felt appropriate. Ellis appeared behind me, adjusting his tie. Ready to go? Almost. I touched the phone in my purse, double-checking that everything was loaded and ready. Just nervous about being the center of attention. He kissed my cheek. You look beautiful. We arrived at Mom's house early. The decorations were Pinterest perfect. Blue and silver balloons, delicate streamers, a professional cake decorated with tiny booties. Lindsay was arranging gift bags, wearing a dress that seemed deliberately tight across her flat stomach. Noelle, she air-kissed my cheek. You look comfortable. Mom bustled over. Everything's ready. Daphne called. She's bringing the games? Yes, I said. She has everything. Daphne arrived minutes later, carrying 2 large bags. She winked at me as she disappeared into the sunroom, supposedly to set up the baby-themed games. Actually, she was checking the hidden speaker one last time. Guests started arriving at 2. Jessica from Ellis's office came early, avoiding my eyes as she set down her gift. I watched her whisper something to Lindsay, who nodded significantly. Having fun? I asked Jessica sweetly, making her jump. Oh, yes, everything's lovely. Ellis was telling me about your interesting conversation the other day. She paled slightly. I need to use the bathroom. More guests filtered in. Michaela arrived with 3 presents, looking nervous. Stuart came alone, standing awkwardly by the punch bowl. Mom's boyfriend Clyde helped arrange chairs, oblivious to the tension building in the room. Time for games, Daphne announced at 3. She'd organized the usual silly stuff, guessing the baby's size with string, baby food taste testing, diaper changing races. I played along, laughing at all the right moments. You're awfully chipper, Mom whispered as she passed me. Taking something for your nerves? Just enjoying my shower, I replied. Isn't that what you wanted? She gave me an odd look before turning away. The games wound down around 4. Right on schedule, Mom clapped her hands. Cake time! Everyone find your seats. I watched Lindsay position herself near the front of the room, champagne glass in hand. Mom stood beside her, both of them practically vibrating with anticipation. Ellis sat next to me, squeezing my hand. Having fun? He whispered. Just wait, I murmured back. The cake was served. Perfect little squares of vanilla with buttercream frosting. I counted the seconds, watching Lindsay fidget with her glass, waiting for her moment. Finally, she stood, tapping her glass with a spoon. The room fell quiet. I'd like to say a few words about my dear sister, she began, voice dripping honey. I reached into my purse, fingers finding my phone. Noelle has always been different from the rest of us, Lindsay continued. Always so quiet, so secretive. Mom nodded encouragingly. Jessica from accounting sat up straighter. And now she's having the first grandchild, Lindsay's voice caught artificially. It's just, well, there are some things everyone should know. I pressed play. Suddenly, Lindsay's voice, her real voice, filled the room through the hidden speaker. Everyone will know exactly what kind of person she really is. The color drained from her face as the recording continued. Every cruel word, every planned lie, every scheme to destroy my marriage and question my baby's paternity, all of it played in crystal clear audio. Mom lunged for her purse, probably looking for the speaker, but Daphne blocked her path. Please sit down, Edith. The recording isn't finished. Ellis's hand tightened on mine as he heard the faked texts being discussed, the planned ambush. Jessica from accounting slid down in her chair, face burning. Stuart stood up abruptly, staring at his wife in horror. When Mom's voice came through, gleefully planning to destroy her own daughter's baby shower, Clyde walked out without a word. Several other guests followed. The recording ended with their toast. To Karma! In the deafening silence that followed, I stood up carefully, one hand on my belly. Well, I said, raising my water glass. To Karma indeed. Lindsay's champagne glass shattered on the floor as she ran from the room, sobbing. Mom stood frozen, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Noelle, she finally managed. How could you? No. My voice cut through the room like a blade. How could you? The baby kicked hard as if applauding. The real show was about to begin. Turn that off immediately. Mom's voice shook with rage as she advanced toward me. You're ruining everything. No, Mother, you ruined everything. I stayed perfectly still, one hand protectively over my belly. The moment you decided to destroy your own daughter's baby shower. Ellis stood beside me, his face a mask of controlled fury. Is this true, Edith? You were going to accuse me of cheating, question my son's paternity? Ellis, sweetheart, you don't understand. Mom started. Don't. His voice was ice. Don't you dare try to explain this away. Stuart appeared in the doorway, his face ashen. "Where's Lindsay?" "Probably hiding from the truth," I said quietly, like she always does. The remaining guests sat frozen, forks suspended over half-eaten cake, watching the drama unfold like a live soap opera. Jessica from accounting tried to slink toward the door, but Daphne blocked her path. "Leaving so soon?" Daphne asked sweetly. "Don't you want to explain to Ellis about those lies you agreed to tell?" Jessica burst into tears. "Lindsay said, she said it would help everyone in the long run. I didn't know." "Get out." Ellis's command made her jump. She practically ran from the room. Mom made another grab for my phone, but I stepped back. "Looking for this? There are copies, Mother. Lots of copies." "You ungrateful little—" She choked on her words. "After everything I've done for you?" "Everything you've done to me," I corrected. "The constant criticism, the favoritism, the emotional manipulation. But this?" I gestured to my belly. "Trying to hurt my child? That's unforgivable." Lindsay chose that moment to reappear, mascara streaking down her face. "It's not fair. It's not fair that you get everything. The perfect husband, the baby, everyone's sympathy." "Sympathy?" Stuart's voice cracked. "You think destroying your sister's life would make people sympathize with you?" "Stuart, please." Lindsay reached for him, but he backed away. "Don't touch me. I don't even know who you are anymore." Michaela stood up suddenly. I think we should all go." "No one is going anywhere," Mom shouted. "This is my house and what?" I cut in. "You'll manipulate everyone into staying? Guilt them into believing your lies?" "Not anymore." The baby kicked again, harder this time. I smiled, feeling stronger with each movement. "You know what the saddest part is?" I continued, looking between my mother and sister. "I actually believed you'd changed. When you offered to throw this shower, I thought maybe, finally, you were happy for me." "We were trying to protect you," Mom insisted weakly. "Protect me? By destroying my marriage? By making everyone question my baby's paternity?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "No, you were trying to protect yourselves. From what? From feeling less important? From not being the center of attention?" Lindsay collapsed into a chair, sobbing. "You don't understand what it's like, watching you have what I want so badly. So you decided to take it away from me?" I placed both hands on my belly now. "That's not pain, Lindsay. That's cruelty." Stuart moved toward the door. "I can't. I need some air. Lindsay, don't follow me." Mom made one last attempt. "Noelle, if you walk out that door with this recording, you're no longer my daughter." The room held its breath. I felt Ellis's hand on my shoulder, Daphne's presence behind me, and most importantly, my son moving inside me. "That's funny," I said, my voice clear and strong. "I stopped being your daughter a long time ago. I just didn't know it until now." I turned to the remaining guests. "Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry you had to witness this, but maybe it's better that everyone knows the truth." "Noelle?" Mom's voice cracked. "Please. Goodbye, Mother." I headed for the door, then paused. "Oh, and Lindsay? Karma really is something, isn't it?" Ellis wrapped his arm around me as we walked out. Behind us, I could hear Mom's sobs, Lindsay's hysterics, and the murmur of shocked guests. In the car, Ellis finally spoke. "Why didn't you tell me what they were planning?" "Because you would have tried to stop it." I took his hand. "Some things need to be seen to be believed." He kissed my knuckles. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea they were—" Neither did I, really. Not until they showed me themselves. The baby kicked again, and for the first time in weeks, I felt completely at peace. The truth was out, the masks were off, and I was finally, truly free. The aftermath hit like a tsunami. My phone started buzzing before we even got home. First with texts from Mom, then Lindsay, then a flood of messages from guests and family members. "Don't look at them," Ellis said, taking my phone gently. "Not tonight." We were curled up on our couch when Daphne arrived, carrying the bags of shower games and the Bluetooth speaker. "You should have seen what happened after you left," she said, settling into our armchair. "Complete chaos." "Tell me," I said, sitting up straighter. "Well, first, Stuart came back in and told Lindsay he was staying at his brother's place. She completely lost it, started screaming about how this was all your fault." Ellis snorted. Of course she did. Then Clyde returned, just to tell your mom he was done. Said he couldn't be with someone who'd hurt their own child like that. Daphne's eyes gleamed. He called her a monster. I felt a twinge of something. Not quite sadness, not quite satisfaction. What about the other guests? I asked. Most left pretty quickly. But Michaela stayed behind, and you'll never believe what she told your mom. What? She said she'd been suspicious for weeks. That's why she kept checking in with you. Said she'd never seen such toxic behavior in her life. Daphne grinned. Your mom tried to defend herself, but Michaela just said, my mother would die before hurting me like this. And walked out. My phone buzzed again in Ellis's hand. He glanced at it, frowning. Your sister, he said. Want me to read it? I nodded. How could you humiliate me like this? Stuart won't answer my calls. Mom is devastated. I hope you're happy with yourself, you selfish but... He stopped reading. You don't need to hear the rest. No, I agreed. I don't. The doorbell rang. Ellis checked the security camera on his phone. It's Stuart. I nodded and Ellis let him in. Stuart looked terrible. Tie loose, hair messed up like he'd been running his hands through it repeatedly. I'm sorry, he said immediately. I had no idea what they were planning. I knew Lindsay was upset about the baby, but this... Sit down, I said softly. You want some water? He collapsed onto our couch. I can't go home. I can't look at her right now. The things she said in that recording. You're welcome to stay in our guest room, Ellis offered. Stuart shook his head. Thanks, but I'm going to my brother's. I needed to tell you I'm sorry, and that I'm filing for separation papers tomorrow. My heart ached for him. Despite everything, Stuart had always been kind to me. None of this is your fault, I told him. Isn't it? I saw how she treated you, how your mom treated you. I didn't want to make waves. He stood up. I should go. After he left, Daphne checked her phone. Social media is blowing up. Your mom's best friend just posted about how disgusted she is. Apparently, your mom tried to call her to explain, and she hung up on her. Good, Ellis said firmly. Another text came through, this time from Mom's sister, my Aunt Rachel. Just heard what happened. I always knew Edith favored Lindsay, but this is beyond comprehension. Call me if you need anything. The baby kicked, and I pressed my hand to the spot. You okay? Ellis asked softly. Yeah, I said, surprising myself by meaning it. I really am. Daphne stayed for dinner, helping us sort through the few shower gifts we'd managed to bring home. Most were still at Mom's house. I'll go get them tomorrow, she offered. You don't need to see them right now. Thanks. I opened a small package, a handmade blanket from one of Ellis's cousins. At least some people came for the right reasons. Later that night, as Ellis and I got ready for bed, he paused while brushing his teeth. You know what amazes me? He said. How calm you were through all of it, like you finally stopped being afraid of them. I did, I realized. The moment I heard them plotting, something just snapped. But not in an angry way, in a I'm done with this way. He pulled me close, one hand on my belly. I'm proud of you, and I'm sorry I never saw what they were doing to you before. You see me now, I said. That's what matters. My phone lit up one last time. A final text from Mom. I hope you're satisfied with destroying this family. I showed it to Ellis, then blocked her number. You didn't destroy anything, he said firmly. You just stopped letting them destroy you. I fell asleep that night feeling lighter than I had in years. One hand protectively over my baby, the other holding Ellis's hand. Let them rage. Let them cry. Let them blame me. I was done being their victim. A week after the shower, the full impact of what I'd done hit like an avalanche. Daphne came over with a box of my remaining shower gifts and a grim expression. Your mom's been busy, she said, setting down the box. She's telling everyone who will listen that you set her up, that the recording was edited. Of course she is. I rubbed my belly absently. Anyone believing her? Not after I posted the full recording online. Daphne grinned wickedly, including the part where they discussed getting Jessica to lie about Ellis. My phone buzzed, another blocked number. They'd been trying different phones to reach me all week. Stuart filed the separation papers, Daphne continued. Lindsay showed up at his office screaming. Security had to remove her. The doorbell rang. Ellis, who'd taken to working from home since the shower, answered it. "It's Michaela," he called. She hurried in, looking flustered. "You need to know, your mom and sister just left my house. They're trying to convince people to boycott your real baby shower next week." I'd almost forgotten. Daphne was throwing me a replacement shower at her house. "Let them try," I said. "Anyone who believes them isn't welcome anyway." "That's not all." Michaela sat down heavily. They're saying you faked your fertility struggles, that you're not really as far along as you claim." The baby kicked hard, as if protesting. I laughed darkly. "Really? They want to go there?" I pulled out my phone, scrolling through years of medical records, fertility treatments, and ultrasound dates. "Let them try." The doorbell rang again. This time it was Stuart, looking exhausted. "Lindsay's telling people I'm having an affair," he said without preamble. "That's why I left her. She's completely lost it." Ellis brought him water while he collapsed onto our couch. "She showed up at my brother's house at midnight," Stuart continued, "screaming about how everyone's against her, how we're all conspiring to ruin her life." "Classic narcissist meltdown," Daphne observed. "When they can't control the narrative anymore, they try to burn everything down." My phone buzzed again, this time a text from Aunt Rachel. "Your mother just called me crying, saying you're trying to steal her friends. I told her she did that all by herself." "They're imploding," Michaela said softly, "and they can't handle that it's their own fault." The doorbell rang a third time. Ellis checked the camera and his face hardened. "It's your mother." Everyone froze. Through the camera feed, I could see her standing there, mascara streaked, clutching her designer purse like a shield. "Don't answer it," Stuart warned. "No," I said, standing carefully. "I will, but you all stay here." Ellis moved to protest, but I touched his arm. "I need to do this." I opened the door but didn't invite her in. Mom looked terrible, her usually perfect hair disheveled, her expensive clothes wrinkled. "Noelle, please," she started. "This has gone too far. You have to help fix this." "Fix what exactly? The consequences of your actions?" "People won't talk to me. Clyde won't return my calls. Even my bridge club uninvited me." Her voice rose hysterically. "Your sister is falling apart. And whose fault is that? If you just kept quiet, if I just let you destroy my marriage and question my baby's paternity." I cut her off. "If I'd just been the good little victim like always? We're your family." "No." I placed both hands on my belly, feeling my son move. "This is my family now. You lost the right to call yourself that when you plotted to hurt my child." "I'm your mother." She reached for me, but I stepped back. "You're a woman who gave birth to me. There's a difference." She started crying. Real tears this time, not the manipulative ones I'd grown up with. "Please, Noelle, tell everyone you forgive us. Make this stop." "I can't make it stop, Mother, and I won't lie to protect you anymore." "Then you're dead to me," she screamed, mask finally dropping completely. "You ungrateful, selfish—" Ellis appeared behind me. "Leave, now, before I call the police." She staggered back, face contorting. "You'll regret this, Noelle. When you need your mother, when that baby comes—" "I haven't had a real mother in years," I said quietly. "I won't miss what I never had." I closed the door on her screams, turning into Ellis's arms as my friends gathered around us protectively. "You okay?" Daphne asked softly. I nodded, feeling my son kick strongly. "Better than okay. I'm free." Through the window, we watched my mother drive away, finally understanding that some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. They're meant to burn. The replacement shower at Daphne's house felt like stepping into a different world. No forced smiles, no hidden agendas, just genuine joy and celebration. The guests who came were the ones who mattered. Friends who'd stood by me, family members who'd chosen truth over loyalty. "Open this one next," Michaela said, handing me a soft package. Inside was a beautiful hand-knitted blanket. My grandmother made it. She said real family is about love, not blood. I hugged her, fighting tears. "Thank you." Stuart arrived halfway through, looking better than he had in weeks. "The divorce papers are filed," he announced. "Lindsay's being served tomorrow." "How are you holding up?" I asked. "Better. Started therapy last week." He smiled sadly. "Should have done it years ago." Ellis brought me water and settled beside me on the couch. "Anyone heard from them?" Your mother's apparently in Arizona with her sister, Daphne reported. The one who always enabled her. Lindsay's still trying to convince people the recording was fake. Let her try, I said, opening another gift. The truth has a way of lasting longer than lies. The doorbell rang. Daphne checked her camera and froze. It's Clyde. Everyone tensed, but I nodded. Let him in. He entered awkwardly, carrying a large gift bag. I hope it's okay. I wanted to do this right. Of course, I said softly. Sit down. He perched on an armchair, looking around nervously. I've been doing a lot of thinking about what I witnessed, what I enabled by staying silent. We all did, Stuart murmured. I should have spoken up sooner, Clyde continued. Should have called out the way they treated you. I'm sorry, Noelle. I touched my belly, feeling my son's familiar movements. Thank you. I brought something. He pulled out a small book from his bag. Your mother, she kept this hidden in her desk. It's your baby book from when you were born. My hands shook as I opened it. The first few pages were filled with loving notes, detailed milestones, proud moments. Then abruptly, everything stopped, right around the time Lindsay was born. She did love you, Clyde said gently, before her own issues took over. I thought you should have this, to remember there was good once, and to do better with your own son. Ellis squeezed my hand as I closed the book. I will, I promised. He'll never doubt he's loved. The party continued, filled with genuine laughter and joy. Aunt Rachel FaceTimed to show me the nursery furniture she'd ordered. Michaela's mother brought homemade cookies and motherly advice. Stuart's brother arrived with his wife, both hugging me fiercely. Real family, his wife whispered. That's what you've got now. Later, as people were leaving, Daphne pulled me aside. Look what's trending locally, she said, showing me her phone. There was a social media post from Jessica, Ellis's coworker. I need to confess something. I agreed to lie about a colleague's husband because someone asked me to. I was wrong. The truth is, Ellis and Noelle have the strongest marriage I know. I'm deeply sorry for almost helping destroy that. The responses were overwhelming. People sharing similar stories of my mother and sister's manipulations. Others praising my courage in exposing them. The truth really does win, Daphne said softly. That night, Ellis and I sat in our partially finished nursery. The rocking chair Aunt Rachel sent had arrived that morning. Having regrets? He asked as I rocked slowly. About exposing them? No. I ran my hands over my belly. About losing the fantasy of what could have been? Maybe a little. That's okay, he said. Grief is complicated. But look what we gained. I gestured to the gifts surrounding us, each one representing someone who chose to stand with us. Real family, real love. Speaking of love, Ellis knelt beside the chair, hands joining mine on my belly. I felt him kick. He knows his daddy's voice. We sat there quietly, feeling our son move, surrounded by evidence of true family love, not the toxic version I'd grown up with. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from an unknown number. Your mother's telling everyone you'll come crawling back when the baby comes. Lindsay. I deleted it without responding. They'd never understand that real strength isn't about power or control. It's about knowing your worth and protecting those you love. The baby kicked again, strong and sure. We've got you, I whispered to him, and we've got each other. That was all the family we needed. The sun set outside our nursery window, painting the room in soft golden light. Not an ending, really. More like a beginning. Our beginning.